or teaches for a North Carolina public school. And for these people, this school year has come with some different changes to their school systems. The latest string of North Carolina education reform bills has affected students, teachers, and taxpayers. Most students go to school and aren't really aware of what is going on around them. They just know they're there to do their work, they get it done, they go home. That's it. And I'm a tutor at a counseling center for kids who need help with like their families and such. So I've seen firsthand the effects that it's had on some of the younger students. One of the biggest ones this year, as told by Civitas Institute, is the 3rd grade reading assessment. Everybody knows at the end of 3rd grade you take your EOGs for the first time. And this year, if you fail your EOG, you'll retake it as usual. You fail it again, just for the reading part, you're sent to reading summer camp, which is essentially summer school. And you'll retake it yet again at the end of summer school. You fail it again, you go to a 4th grade, 3rd grade hybrid class. You pass it, you go into 4th grade. The end of your first semester of 3rd grade, or the hybrid class, you'll retake it yet again. If you fail it, you'll continue on into 3rd grade as if you were held back. If you pass, you'll go on to 4th grade as if you were a 4th grader, and you would continue to 5th grade the next year. I see this as a good thing because I know 3rd grade is a critical year for reading because they're getting them ready for upper elementary school and AR and such as that. And they're also focusing on more traditional Common Core classes such as teaching cursive and multiplication tables. In the past couple of years, technology in the classroom has had a lot of focus been put on it, such as typing and even using iPads in class. So kids aren't learning how to write and print as they should. And so this year, more emphasis is being put on how to write properly, which I personally see as a very good thing, judging by the handwriting of some of my kids. And multiplication is obviously very important in every aspect of mathematics that you're going to have all throughout school. So let's skip ahead a few years to people like me and you. The UNC schools, like all of the universities, will see a 12.3% increase in their tuition over the next year. And even community college students will see an increase in their fees. So whether you're staying at CVCC or you're transferring to another school such as App or Charlotte, you're going to be paying quite a bit more next year. So this is affecting us young and old. As long as you're a student in the North Carolina system, you're going to be seeing some changes over the next year or two. And even though the students have seen some changes in their school system, it's really hitting the teachers the hardest. Newsmax.com tried to explain the changes for teachers, and the biggest one being the ending of tenure. Now, if you're like me, you didn't really know what tenure was. I kind of thought it was just for professors, but I've learned that it's for teachers of all grades. And it pretty much means if you're at a school for a certain number of years, then you can't really be fired unless it's for an extreme offense. So this has its pros and cons. For the good things, teachers who weren't great teachers, who were, well, maybe even bad teachers, they can be let go and better teachers brought in their place. And the downside of this is that if you're a good teacher and you've not been teaching for that long, you can be let go if the school can afford to pay you. Also, the teachers are seeing no raise this year. It's commonly known that teachers aren't really paid that much, and certainly not paid for what they're worth. And over the past 5 years, North Carolina teachers have only seen a 1% increase in their salary. And as you can see, North Carolina's North Carolina's average teaching salary is quite a few $1,000s below the national average. And over the past 3 or 4 years, it's gotten even steeper away from the national average. Also, there will be no extra pay for master's degree teachers unless it's required for them to have for their position. So they're working for these advanced degrees and not getting paid for it in return. Essentially, it's more work for less pay, even if they have a higher degree of education. Although students and teachers may not be really excited about the recent changes, the taxpayers should be a little bit more enthusiastic about this. According to Forbes.com, North Carolina has set a flat tax rate. It doesn't matter what tax bracket you're in. So the top marginal income tax rate for personal income dropped from 7.75% to 5.75%. So no matter how rich or not that you are, you'll be paying a flat rate of 5.75%. This may sound good to some people, but it's really cutting the amount of funding that schools could get, which is hurting taxpayers' kids in return. In conclusion, the new legislature not only affects schools as a whole, but teachers, students, and taxpayers. Remember, we are all part of this educational system. It's up to us to take the changes in stride, and we need to be grateful for the benefits of it, but also cut some slack to the people that it's hurting. Thank you.